Good morning, day 28 of day 40. And this channel so far has been about me documenting a 40-day process. So I'm very much focused on building my monthly income, working for myself. And I built a protocol which is like a hybrid of monk mode, if you've heard of that, and Andy Frisella's 75 hard. Basically a few things which I think will optimize performance. How's it gone so far? Some of the things I've not been able to achieve, quite honestly. I've spoken many times before now about my domino habit, which is to be in bed with a book by 9:30. I'm not sure whether that's realistic or whether I need to step up. I'm not sure. These videos I'm recording as a form of journaling. So I've never wanted to sit down with a journal and write. It's just too slow and I'm not inclined to do that right now. But recording these videos, talking about my wins, my losses, and what I learned from those losses and what I'll do different next time, that's the most important part, and how specifically I'll implement it, these learnings, has been very valuable to me. So if you're on a journey of wanting to improve yourself, whether it's run a sub 4-hour marathon or build a business or whatever, I think Peter Drucker said, is a great business guru, you cannot manage what you don't measure. So you have to track your progress and where you're at. That's one thing. So having some kind of a metric will help. And that's where an app like Strides is very good. You can write your habits in and then track the numbers, your adherence to those habits. I've been using an app called Todoist, Todoist, but I think Strides probably is a better app. I prefer the interface. It's up to you. Todoist takes a bit of learning. There are literally tutorials on YouTube. It's almost like they've formulated a way where you can write your own code, a very basic form of code in the app. So if you write Monday, Thursday, hashtag, it kind of automatic. Anyway, I digress. Strides and Todoist allow you to track your behaviors and see how you're doing, how much you're adhering to them. And also the second reason why these videos are so good for me is, and I recommend it for anybody wanting to improve in any area, is you reflect on the losses. And because you know that there is somebody who may be watching on the other end, an audience, there's something called the Cunningham effect, or is it the Hawthorne effect, or maybe both, where we change our behavior when we know we're being observed, right? So if you were stood in your lounge talking to people, giving a presentation on cheese or something, and then they put you in front of a stadium and you gave the same presentation in the same clothing, stood in the same way, that would affect you very much so. It comes from a scientific clinical background where they noticed that the subjects, the people they were studying, changed their behavior when they knew that a researcher was watching them. It kind of skewed the results. And you want to use that to your benefit. So if you're going to set up a channel like this, if you keep, I don't know, ordering a pizza at 11 p.m. at night and you have to come on well, you don't have to, but you choose to come on the camera and divulge that information and say, yeah, I've done it again, guys. I'm trying to, well, you're talking to yourself really, or an imaginary audience, or there may be an audience in the end. But really start off, you know, there's someone that somebody could be on the other end listening to you say, oh, it's day 11 and I ordered 3 pizzas last night, you know, and I've done this 10 days in a row, guys. I've got this kind of habit book here, guys, that I'm following, and I've not implemented any of the advice. Why? Here's the reflection part. Because, well, goodness me, that would be a good idea. I should implement the advice. What were my notes in this book? You know, maybe you really studied this book. You can say, okay, well, let me read. I'll do this live with you right now. So this is the habit loop. Very, very, very important habit loop. Okay, so there's a cue, a craving, response, reward. So let's apply this right now live. All right, so my domino habit is to be in bed with a book by 9:30. I think 10:30 may be more realistic. Let's say 10. What happens at 10? I get a cue. What's the cue? For me, if you've read Nir Eyal's Hooked book, which is another habit book, very powerful, the cue is an internal feeling. That's how these iPhones work. We have a cue. We're sat there working, and then we have a cue, and it's also almost automatic. It's subconscious. We pick up our phone and we look at it, okay? When you break it down, the reason why we do that with iPhones, and they're very clever, these scientists who work for Apple and Samsung, whatever, the reason why we do that is we crave connectedness with other people. We wonder what other people are doing, or it could be a distraction. It's getting uncomfortable. We're about to break into flow state in our work, which requires you to pass through a level, like a mesh of discomfort. If you've ever experienced flow state, that's where you're working very efficiently and you're not really aware of time. Stephen Kotler wrote a book called, is it The Rise of the Superman? I read bits of the book. But anyway, you need to pass through this discomfort to get into flow state. And when you're in that area of discomfort, when you're about to break through, people go bam, and they look at Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, or they check WhatsApp. Why? Because they're uncomfortable, and that relieves them from the discomfort. It's a travesty, in all honesty, because it's robbing you. You have to go through the whole process again of building up to that barrier of discomfort, which may take 20 minutes, where there's a rise in norepinephrine? I can't remember the brain chemicals, and you break into flow state. You have to start all the way from the beginning. So the cue is you feel that discomfort, and then you get the craving to pick up your phone, and the response is picking up the phone. Then the reward is you're relieved of the discomfort. Okay, so in this case, the cue is the phone. What might you do? And this is what I do. My phone is never, ever next to my keyboard, my desk. It is visible because it's a visual cue and also a feeling. So I put the phone at the bottom of my bag in a zipped compartment at the bottom. It brings the unconscious into the conscious mind. To get that phone, I'm reminded of, oh my goodness, I've buried my phone at the bottom of the bag in a zipped compartment. Do you see? So I put the phone in a place where, it makes it conscious. So what could I do with my domino habit going to bed? This may sound quite funny, but James Clear talks about it in his book. I could write a note to myself on a big piece of paper as a joke or something to remind me, hey, you are choosing to start a podcast at 9:30 p.m. This means you will not achieve your domino habit, and these are the consequences. And write out a 1-year consequence, a 10-year consequence. You will never make the money you want. This means you will never attract the woman of your dreams. This means you will never have children. You will never grow old. You're going to grow old lonely on your own. Jordan Peterson talks about this in his self-authoring suite. You extrapolate out. It's the opposite of the vision and the dream. It's the hell that is coming your way. All right. And even as I say that, it does create an emotional reaction within me. I feel, that makes me feel uncomfortable. That's exactly what you want. The stick is I haven't read the behavior science on this, but my feeling is that the stick is more powerful than the carrot. You want to use both. You want to have a carrot, something to move towards, but you want to remind yourself of the stick, the consequence. All right, so I hope that helps. James Clear, cue, craving, response, reward. All right, so you want to have a cue, you want to leverage this so that it has the opposite effect of your besetting habit, the habit that's not allowing you to get where you want to. So that's what this video is about. I'm doing this 40 days, it's day 28, and that's where we'll bring it into land. I want to bring the videos to under 6 minutes eventually, but under 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to write that bit of paper, place it down, and I'll check in the next few days, let you know how it goes.